I watch a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube shows, but one I really like is Funny Marco. It's so good, and he's very sarcastic. He brings celebrities on, and he brings stuff up about them, but it's just such random stuff, and the way they edit it, it's really big on facial expressions and just silence. It's a lot like Caleb Presley, what he does to athletes. Funny Marco does the comedians and rappers and actors and actresses. And, I mean, you go in there and I watch it because you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. He's gonna make them feel, quote unquote, dumb. But not that they are dumb. That's the whole point of the show, is to make the celeb look dumb a little bit. But it's funny, and you know what's going in, and I always look forward to watching it. And he DM'd me a while back and said, would I be interested in coming on? I'm like, yeah, of course. I love shows like that. That Funny Marco, it reminds me a lot of Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. It's very similar to that. But it's just fun. It's a fun show to watch. And this week, though, man, I did not like what I saw from Herbo, and I guess it's his producer, Southside, because they came on a show and they one, they were rude, they were kind of bullying. It was almost like you felt like if Funny Marco wasn't who he was, if he had a temper, or it could have went left, it could have got physical quick. And it just felt tense. And normally it just feels fun. And that's why we go there. We got enough tension in this world. We don't need that. But they went on there, and for lack of better words, they were just being assholes. And it wasn't funny. And at one point they started talking to themselves, and Funny Marco's like, "You guys want to keep me in here?" And he goes, and then they're basically just rude, like, "Hey, you shut the fuck up." All right. And it was like those two were having a conversation that we don't know what they were talking about. And then they grabbed his hat and they threw it. That was too much. And then I don't know if this is real or not, but they showed like an off take of they took Funny Marco's watch and broke it. And I mean, if this was all fake, oh my God, brilliant. But I don't think it was. I think they went in there and they were drinking. And I'm not going to blame them on the alcohol, because I always say a drunken tongue speaks an honest mind. Or a drunken, yeah. And it was just uncomfortable, man. And I felt bad. I felt bad for Funny Marco, because I'm fine with bagging on him, but this just wasn't funny, and it was tense, and and the thing about it is, like, the producer Southside, he made a comment on it, and he was like, "You guys didn't know what the fuck was going on," and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And I think when you, in our line of work, you do something and it don't hit, and then if a lot of people saying, "Hey, you was an asshole here," it's very hard to just watch it back and be like, "You know what? You're right, my bad. We took it too far. Now that I've watched it back, I can see how people think." But we got such egos. We can't just admit we're wrong sometimes. And if this wasn't staged, if Southside and Herbo really was acting like this on a show, it was just I like the show, and I want to see it keep going, and I want to be on it, and I want to see him bring bigger guests. The bigger the guests, the more views you get. And this just wasn't good. And and I'm sure if they saw this podcast, they'll probably come at me like shut the fuck up. You know what you're talking about. But I'm just going from a guy in this business. I like to see everybody win. And I just think, why would you go on a show? Because at one point they said, "This is our show now." And what bothered me most is when they started having a conversation between the two of them and kind of left him out. And then when he got back in, they told him, "Shut the fuck up." And once you start touching somebody, you've gone too far. Or they took off his hat and threw it. And I'm sure them and whoever they was with thought it was all funny. But I'm telling you, the public and everybody else, there's a reason I'm looking right now, and there's so many different outlets. Like, this shit wasn't good. You just didn't enjoy it. It says they broke Funny Marco's $30,000 watch. I hope that's not true. Now the Southside producer, he says the watch was fake. I don't know. Because he's had, I mean, one of my favorite episodes was The Baby with Funny Marco. And, you know, The Baby's got a history, and he quote unquote at one point had a short temper, but that was just fun to watch. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And I feel bad. If Funny Marco sees this, man, it sucks, man, but you handle yourself very well. You were a professional, and I just want to see your show succeed and keep going because I enjoy watching it, and I didn't like this happening to you. It just rubbed me wrong, man. It just really did. It just wasn't. I hope it was fake, honestly. I hope it was fake.